Hello, and welcome to part 14 of Povop, where today we have an education problem. But just because we'd be spending a lot of time looking at things, I am going to repay our loan. While we do have plenty of education opportunities, such as our university, our very nice college over here, and our older, much smaller college over here, they are all still in one sort of central area, leaving everybody in this whole area pretty far from a college. So the only answer is to get some more money, and then start making an area to build. Now I would like to buy this zoning tile too. I would also like to buy this tile because it is cheap and I would like to lay out where I am building. I think this is going to be the perfect spot for our college, as it is in a pretty central area for where we're going to be developing, and it will have plenty of space to build out a campus. And honestly, I think it looks pretty nice, but we need to manage the infrastructure too. I also think a bus station would be helpful for the area, as it will allow people to get where they need to go much easier. Now this one happens to also have options for a subway interface. So I have a feeling lots of people will want to park here, so I will add additional parking spaces. And honestly, I think that looks pretty good. And I think the first line I will create is from the uptown, and then I'll just bring it down to the downtown. Finish connecting it, make it free, and assign less vehicles. And honestly, I think the color should be fine. Another problem in that area is lack of police coverage. So I'll just build a police station here, and then I'll select this area as the operating district. Now on the topic of districts, the districts are getting outdated as this does not cover everywhere it should, so I'll just adjust that now. And checking on the area, I've just clicked on 2 buildings, actually quite a few buildings that are looking to level up, which I think is pretty great. At this point, we're seeing a really major problem with traffic, so I'm just going to take a shot at trying to fix it. And that seems to be the problem solved, which is very nice. But that still leaves us to fix the train line. And there we go. It is a little messy, but I'm sure we'll have to fix it again in the future anyways, so it should be good for now. Also, I think I'll just put a roundabout here instead of that complicated turn system. And there aren't quite as many people using the college as I would like, nor are there a ton of people using our bus system, which tells me we need to add some housing to the area. And with a couple of trees added, I think this area looks a bit nicer. As we can see, there are plenty of people already starting to move in. And And there we go, we've added quite a few more homes around the college, but we still haven't seen a bump in students. If I'm being honest right now, I'm feeling kind of lost. I truly am just so confused what to do with the city right now. We have a grid sitting over here doing nothing, that is abandoned because I didn't check on the grid over here. We have two separated cities that are supposed to be a part of here but are nowhere near it, and are both separate, as all the jobs are over here anyways. Additionally, I built a random college, which probably was not needed because the capacity we had pretty much served everyone in this area, and this area is nowhere near connected enough, although it's dense, to get its own university, as they are super duper expensive, take up a lot of space, and need real commitment. So to recenter what we're doing, we're taking out a massive loan and buying these tiles. And now what I'm gonna do is just check on the grid. And we've unlocked a new milestone, which gives us money, development points, and land tile. And our grid is far off, which means I get the joy of destroying all of the work we put in. And now we've also got the terrain problem, which now I have to fix. The elevation step between these two places are way too high. I'm also going to buy this tile too, and because it is mostly flat and at the same level, flatten it out. And this is just enough space to fit a sea line, so we are going to leave it there. Alright, this is a lot of progress and I'm liking it a lot more. Now I did install a mod today actually, and so that you don't have to use as many crosswalks, you can actually use this sort of bridge thing that will allow people to cross the street without crossing the road, which will save on traffic. And I think this is a much better solution rather than people crossing and causing so much traffic. And here we go, this is the highway complete, and as we can see, people are already using it, and I think it looks pretty great. Of course, more work is needed, but for now, it will do the job just fine. And hopefully this will relieve this highway of having so much traffic. And hopefully due to more accessibility, this college will get more students. Something else I want to do is fix the healthcare coverage over here. So I'm going to also assign this hospital to accept patients from over here. Now though, I'd like to do some more work over here. And there we go, we now have a train station over here. But we still have to connect the line from over here. But taking a pause on that, we have a lot of debt, so I'd like to pay a lot of debt back. And after looking at the area and where the train will have to go, I feel this is the literal perfect spot for a train station, as it has a pass-through park, it has a station where it will have buses, and eventually a subway, and a college right here, with plenty of people in high density here. And it'll be safe because there's a police station here. And the train lines are gonna have to go this way, and then right back over. And there we go, we have made a connection to over here from the train. So now I'd like to create the actual train line. Of course, we'll make it free, and hopefully we'll see people riding this line. Also, looking over here at this intersection, there is much less traffic, which makes me think this highway through here is doing a lot to help. And now I'd like to pretty much figure out what I'm doing with the terrain in this area. And now we have plenty of grid to put pretty much whatever we would like over here. But I'm gonna hold off on that for now and instead purchase this tile. And now we have a very good area to build. This area I would like to be a little less grid based. And now we have our main road running through. Now while planning for this area, I wanted to add a park, but I also noticed this whole area is missing entertainment. I honestly feel like a Ferris wheel would sort of make sense and look pretty decent in this area, so I'm gonna add one here. And there we go, I think this pier is pretty nice. And here we go, this is, I think, one of our final road layouts. Eventually a few roads might be added back here, but for now this should serve the purpose fine. Now what I'd like to do is buy these two tiles and connect this road up somewhere over here. So I'm just going to add roads over here. And there we go. Now the best thing this road connection is going to do is allow us to get rid of this pipe, and these underground pipes too. And there we go. This road also seems to be getting used a fair amount, but I am going to change it so that it does not have a median. Also, I'm going to make a change over here, just so the road makes a little more sense. And of course, fix the turns. I'm not sure how this person is neutral as they are extremely happy with their spacious home, but who knows. I've also never seen this high of a number for spacious homes, but I will definitely take it. I've also once again changed my mind on this road, and I would like it to be more of a expressway. But that means we do have to once again run water pipes. I'm also noticing a traffic problem here because my traffic light has gone away. And now I'd also like to buy these two map tiles. And now I'm gonna make a little tunnel here. I'm gonna have to break this road. And then we'll add our road back. We'll soften the surrounding terrain. For example, the connection to this train station is pretty terrible. So bad, in fact, that I'm gonna buy this land tile. And actually, I'll just move it over here. And I am going to change this road to a larger road, and now I'll just go through and fix the amount of crosswalks. And now though, we're gonna have a major parking problem. But before we can deal with that, we do have to finish the grid. We really have not checked in on this area in a while. I think it really does just look so nice. The only thing I don't like about the area is this red building. So I'm just gonna copy this building's colors and paste them here. And that looks much better. But now it's back to over here, where I'm gonna build a road, and then I'm gonna place loads of parking lots. Of course, I'm gonna make them free, and I'll add a couple more. And then we'll repair the terrain, and then do our best to make it look nicer. And there we go. Although most of the people coming to use the parking lots now aren't using the train, I still think it's fine, as there is very little parking in the area. And actually, I'm gonna get rid of one parking lot, replace it with an alley, and instead add a ton of bike infrastructure. And after temporarily getting rid of this parking lot to fix this end, I think it looks much better. And so people actually use the bike parking, we'll add bike infrastructure. And this will get rid of quite a few parking spaces. Again, we've added a ton over here. And it's now time to add this station to the rest of our line. And hopefully we will see less traffic over here and also less accidents. Actually, it does also seem one of our buses was involved in an accident. And actually, I'm also going to get rid of these parking lots and instead put this. And also a taxi depot. Terrain fixes are needed. And now I'm gonna add the taxi stop. Now I have seen a couple of comments about unemployment, and honestly I don't think I have ever seen this high of a number. Anyways, we'll now make a new bus line, and probably skip out over here. And then complete the route there. We'll make the tickets free and make a nice yellowish bus. Also, I chose this bus station because if we ever do need more parking, we have quite a lot right here. But now there is also a lack of vehicles, which means the transportation budget needs to go up. That didn't fix it, so instead we'll reduce the vehicle amount by 1. Also, we can get rid of this bus line as the train can now do its job. And to increase the comfort of this station, I'm going to add ticket machines, and once we have the money, station services. Also, we're having an elementary school problem. There is not enough capacity, so we will have to expand our school. Also, the fellows over here are complaining about mail, so I'm going to fix that with a couple of mailboxes. Last thing I'd like to do is take out $2 million from the bank, buy these tiles, and fix our highway. And there we go, we have rebuilt a lot of the highway. I think it looks much better and is going to be very helpful for what we're about to do. Over here I'm seeing a water problem though, but instead of adding an extra pump, I'll just connect the two parts of our city so they can share water better. And now I'd like to buy this map tile and realize how expensive it is, and also the reason why. It's because trees are expensive, so we should 100% be capitalizing on the trees we already do own. And now we have also unlocked the paper factory. And there we go, that should give us a fair amount more in tax money. And now we'll start construction on our interchange over here. there we go, that is our interchange completely done. Except the lane transitions were a little weird, so I did just fix them up now. And with a little bit of leveling, it will be much better. Also, there's a huge backlog of people waiting for taxis here, and a large backlog on parking. I'll upgrade the parking spaces, and I'll add a few taxi garages, and hopefully that should solve our problems. And it seems people are heading back inside, presumably to their cars, who knows, but less people are waiting for taxis now. Also, I'll upgrade our taxi depot with the dispatch center. And also, many more people are using our train, as more people are waiting. And now our taxi problem should be solved, as now we're just waiting for people to get on. Now for the first time in a while, our monthly balance is in the negatives, and we can always increase the production of our wood. So that's exactly how we are going to make our money back. And that is a huge forestry industry we've just gotten down. Regardless, I do want to still add to our city. Unfortunately, I did have to get rid of this corner store here though. And with that connection made, we have now, once again, without just this highway, connected these areas. Which makes me very happy, as my goal is to keep the city as connected as possible. And I'm glad to see that they are no longer their own little zones, but rather because of new highways and roads connected together. I am going to expand the grid a little bit though. And as we can see, this road is already being used. So to make use of this land over here, I am going to put an inland fish farm, which I know is a little weird, but it really is the only major industry that we're missing. And now over in this area, what I would like to do is put a small shopping area, just because there is a lot of through traffic in this area. Actually, I have an even better idea. I've always thought this shopping center never fit in over here, and now we have the perfect solution. We can put it right on over here on a almost perfectly flat piece of land, which is also more realistic because it's in the suburbs. Now though, I am going to continue zoning in low density, and we've also unlocked a new signature building, the Pop Musician Mansion. And there we go. That is a lot more houses. And honestly, I think we've really doubled the size of this area. Now, I think I know the perfect spot for the Rock Musician Mansion. Although right now it has a pretty terrible view of the mining industry. This will eventually go away once resources run out, and once they do, you'll have a very nice view of the water and a community across. Also, I am just going to move this park over here, and instead I'll put a parking lot over here, which should give more parking, and I also feel is realistic, as I feel this is something a town would just put here, so it could be used as parking or as a recreation space. And hopefully this should stop people from having to park far away from where they live. Also, I'm noticing this area's elementary school is full. So as a temporary fix, I'm assigning this school over here to also accept students from there. And just to help with the amount of students that will be coming in, I am going to upgrade the school. And along here, I'm going to add a couple of medium density buildings. And I'll also add a park. And back here, I'll add a couple of businesses. We are also once again losing money, which means before we go into debt, it's time to build out quite a few roads. And now we are officially in the negatives, which means it's time to be smart, and I think the best thing we can do is turn off a power plant, which will give us positive money almost instantly. And we don't have to worry about importing because we have a little bit of battery charge we can last off of. But it also means we have to be very quick and still continue to build. Now we seem to be losing much more money. And we have zoned in quite a few offices, which should in a short time turn us around and start making us money. And honestly, I think I'm going to be done zoning offices just because I feel we're going to have a lot of unrented offices. And over here, there is almost no commercial. And I think we should have some. And it's more mooses. And as we can see, our batteries have gotten us through this difficult time, which makes me very happy that I did it. And as we can see, our offices are finally starting to build. And honestly, now that we've recovered this mess, I think I want to leave it here. We did get a fair amount done, including fixing this area, adding a new train line, and building this sort of college campus. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I really appreciate you watching, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comments. In the meantime, have yourself a great day.